All right, H7-05 on this Daikin VRV. That's a condenser motor error. We got a few parts to change. Let's get it. All right, yeah, I came and diagnosed this a couple weeks ago, last week, something like that. So we have two boards to replace and a motor. We're going to get that opened up. It's a lot of walking in this, which a lot of the places I work at, there's a lot of walking, but let's get up here to the units. Here they are. We have Unit 1, Unit 2. This one here is the master. This is the slave or secondary, however you want to look at it. And this one here actually does another system altogether. So this one here is the one we're doing all the boards and motor in. Going through their diagnosis procedure, I did conclude that the fan PCB board was bad, but I was getting weird readings out of the main PCB and the fan also. My readings were all over the place on these particular parts. So I said, I'm getting them all. These are older units. I'm not gonna mess around with changing one part, and chances are the other one was faulty too. So I got both boards and the motor. We're gonna get this, replace all three of them and be done with it. So let's get going. All right, so everything we need to replace is actually behind this main panel here. So we're gonna have to get rid of this panel here and get back there to that board. And then the fan board is actually behind there too. So we're gonna have to disassemble this whole front and get it out of the way. All right, as I'm working my way trying to get this panel removed, there's a lot I have to take off here. So I already had to take off these, which I would have had to take these off anyway to replace that PCB board, but maybe not. So, but I have all these cables here that are in my way, and we're just gonna document where all these go. So when we go put them back, most of them look like they're color coded, except these two up here, these two red ones. So not sure if it matters which one goes back where, but we want to make sure we label those so they go back in the right spot. These two guys here, 1, 2. All right, we got enough unhooked where we could lay that straight down. And now we can get to the fan PCB, which we're replacing, which is right there. All right, everything here pretty much seems self-explanatory. Not very many plugs. So we're gonna pull that guy off. We're gonna pull this guy off. This. And then we have this little guy here. Like I said, everything is pretty much going back pretty similar. I have to check and see if I have this little jumper on my new board. If not, we'll just steal it off there. All right, so here's our new board. It did not come with that little jumper, so we'll put that on. But you see here, it comes with a new heat sink also. So we want to make sure we take all that out. I was thinking I might have to pop these off, but nope. 4 screws. We'll pull this one off, and the new one will go right in. All right, we got our new board screwed in now. We're just going to land our wires. Easy stuff. Yeah, changing boards isn't that hard as long as you get everything back the way it's supposed to be. That's your main thing. And a lot of these boards for like VRF and ductless stuff is usually color coded. Like the plug will match where you landed at. All right, so that's that board. All right, now we'll get this other one out of the way so we can change this big guy out. All right, 2 screws, and I pretty much got it loose, but these 2 wires right here are giving me a fit. So, and they do connect to the board I need to replace. So I might, oh, I'll just disconnect them from here just to get it out of the way. All right, now we have that guy down and out of the way. So we kind of have a mess here right now, but everything pretty much is still connected that I want to stay connected, you can see. So I don't have to worry about fumbling around with those later. All right, so here's the other board we need to get replaced. Let's look at the new one and see what kind of wiring it comes with, because sometimes it'll give you new wires connected. Let's see what they give us. All right, here's our new board. So the only thing they have is the wires that are pre-soldered on there, and this sensor here, which is probably the temperature of the heat sink. So we don't have to do any prep here, so we're gonna have to take all the wiring off of the old one before we put the new back on here. All right, I think I got everything unhooked here that needs to be unhooked. We just gotta take the screws out. It's 6 screws. This, like the fan PCB, has a heat sink attached to it. So let's get the screws out and get this thing out. All right, so here's our old one. Take her off to the side. And we got our new guy right here, nice, new and shiny. All right, I think I pretty much got all the wires landed back. Now we just got to really reassemble everything. All right, we got everything pretty much mounted back. This mounted back, this mounted back. So we just have to land all the wires. Now, one thing we have to be mindful of when we re-land these wires here is they have to go through this current sensor. I had to pull them out of there, so I want to make sure I put them back through there. So we'll just make sure we loop all those through so it can work like it should, because we might get errors when it goes to come on and it's not sensing any current. All right, there we have it. I got everything pretty much landed back. I'm just going to double check, make sure everything but my fan wires here, since one of them's getting replaced. So some zip ties and clamps, and we should be good, and we can move on to the motor. Here's our motor and our blade here. We're gonna pop off this cap here so we can get to however it's connected to the motor. Then once I get that off, I can get to the wiring better, so I can make sure I get the correct wiring broken free. I'm probably just gonna cut these zip ties now, so I don't have to fight them later. Because ideally I'd like to get the motor and blade off at the same time so I don't have to fight it in there. I just can't see which one goes where at the moment. All right, I was able to figure it out. So it's this guy here. So I got it loose, I believe, going up to the motor, and the other one I just landed for now. That doesn't need to be loose anymore, so we went ahead and landed those wires. All right, let's see if we can get that motor out of there. Let's take a look. Shouldn't be too bad. 4 screws, the whole thing should come right out. Yeah. 2 right there and then 2 on the other side. All right, I got the bolts out of there. They're actually 10 millimeters, so I had to break out the metrics and the impact to 3/8 socket adapter. So we got her loose. Should be able to pull it out of there. Yep, here she comes. All right, we'll take it down to the ground so we can work on it. All right, this blade is proving difficult to get off there because it's old. First thing we're going to do, we're going to hit it with some Croil and let that sit in there for a while. We have our set screw loose right there. It's just not budging, and it's got a flat spot on the shaft and the blade, so we can't really work it back and forth with a pair of pliers. So we're gonna use a chisel to get it out of there. This is a hammer drill that has just a chisel feature on it. So that's what we're gonna use. We're gonna let that coil sit in there for a minute, and we're gonna try to prop this thing up somewhere to chisel it out of there. Don't really have a place to set it up, so we're just gonna hold it up like this and see if we can chisel it out of there. We got it to move quick at first, but then she slowed down a little bit. Let's make sure our set screw's all the way out. Let's give her another go. Hanging on by a thread at this point. It's almost all the way through. There we go. All right. Hopefully we didn't booger our shaft up a little bit. I did hit where the set screw goes in at a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. Got hung up there. So, should be okay though. There's our motor. Alright, we just got to get those 4 10mm screws out and we should be good to go. Here's our new guy. Motor's got some weight to it for real. Usually these like ductless motors don't have a whole lot of weight to them, but this one certainly does. Get the new blade put on, or the old blade put on, I should say. feet of that. I did booger it up a little bit. It's not going on smooth. I'm gonna have to try to clean that off. Let's try it again. Start beating on it really, because I want to be able to get it off if I can't get it down all the way. Have to beat on it, guys. There we go. I got it to slide in a bit. There we go. Just needed a little bit of persuasion. So it's also got a seat on it, so you can't put it down too far. Going to tighten the set screw now, and we'll be ready to throw this back in there. All right, we got it in there. We just got to get it set. Got all the bolts in. We just got to put this cap back on, put the screws in it, make sure this lines up right. There we go. And 2 screws in him and we're good to go. Up here we'll put the guard back on, then we're good to go. Alright, let's find our wires. They should be in here somewhere. Here they are. Have to make sure we zip tie them out of the way, just like the other ones were, so they don't get chopped by the blade. All right, guys, I think I got everything landed and tightened up. Zip ties in place. So what we have left to do is just make sure there's no wires hanging out anywhere that we forgot to connect, and turn it on, clear any errors that it has, and then also put it in a test mode. So anytime you do a major repair, replace any boards or anything like that on these Daikin VRVs, you have to put it through a test mode. It takes about 30-40 minutes, and it goes through everything and make sure everything's all good and well. So we're about to do that now. All right, guys, we got the power back on. We have the master unit opened up here because this is, I believe, the one we need to do our reset and test through. So to reset it, we're gonna hold mode until we have that H1P light on. And that is on now. It's kind of hard to see. And then we're gonna hit set 21 times. And then we want to make sure our 1, 3, 5, and 7 lights are lit. Like I said, again, hard to tell from here, but then after all those are lit, we're going to hit return, set return, return. And make sure our H1P light is on, and then we're gonna hit mode to return to normal. All right, now that that's done, we're reset. We need to put it in a test mode, which is we're gonna hold test down for 5 seconds. All right, now we're gonna put the panels back on and let it do its thing. We put the panels back on because it's gonna run the compressors and fans and everything, and we don't want it to give any sort of wrong readings, any high head pressure or anything like that. So we wanna make sure those panels are on when it's in test mode. So, like I said, we're gonna let it do its thing now and check back on it in a few minutes. Well, I can already tell we're better than when we were before because all my fans are running. This one wasn't running before. All right, more stuff is happening. I think my compressors are coming on. Yeah, it does all kinds of weird stuff when it's in test mode, makes all kinds of weird noises. It'll run the compressors without the fans, it'll run the fans without the compressors. It'll click and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it even says the booklets and everything, don't worry about what it's doing because it makes crazy noises and it does all kinds of stuff. So we're just gonna let it do its thing for a while, guys. We're gonna check back on it, probably grab a bite to eat, and then we'll come back and see what it's doing. I raised the temperature pretty high because I want everything to come on and run. It got done with its test procedure. Nothing came back in error, so we're gonna let her wind up now. Let me show you some of these indoor units here. They kind of blend into the ceiling, but we have 2, 4, 6, 8 4-ton ceiling cassettes here. And when we did a remodel of this building, mechanical remodel, there's a whole nother building over there that we actually installed an LG VRF, but this VRF was existing. So it worked, so we reused it. And yeah, it works. I have done a lot of work to it, different boards. We've broken all these down and cleaned them, different stuff like that. This is probably the most major repair I've done to these, other than you know, some small boards and stuff like that, current sensors, but it had been running pretty good. So we got these in here now. We'll let her wind up and see how she does. All right. Looks like everything is running. So we're gonna let it run for a little while, make sure everything's good to go, and then we're gonna button it up. All right. $105. She's getting wound up now. 106, yeah. They're getting wound up. We're gonna set this thermostat to a more reasonable temperature. Say 71. All right. Looks like I finished just in front of the rain too, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, guys, 10 or 12 years ago, I used to be terrified of VRF stuff. About probably 9 or 10 years ago, I did Mitsubishi's City Multi training about their Diamond System Builder and all that. And it was still years before I worked on anything VRF. And now it's more prominent where at the sites that we work at, and it comes more natural now. When you look at it, it's really just a big ductless unit. And, you know, not long ago, I was terrified of ductless stuff too. You know, I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this thing doing? But the more you look at it, the more you work on it and get the proper training on it, it'll come natural to you. So that's all a VRF is. It's just a big ductless unit. Some of them have branch boxes and more components and stuff, but if you just look at it the way you do a ductless unit, a lot of times you can work your way through it. A lot of times the things will let you know what's wrong with it. Just about every big ductless or VRF manufacturer will have an app, or at very least a website you can go on and put the error codes in, and it'll tell you what the error code is, how to troubleshoot the component you're working on, with actual telling you what to check, which wires to check, and the values you're supposed to get when you check those components. So as long as you open the books, open the find the stuff online, you can troubleshoot this stuff. It's not that hard. So, but all right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. We're just about done here in Ocean City. We're probably got another 1 or 2 calls to get to today, but that's going to be it for this one. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.